running away from the past I left behind. I'm looking for answers, but I'm blinded by the light. I'm lost in the music, can I stay here for the night? I promise I'll be gone in the morning, out of sight and out of mind. No standing still. It's like you're stuck in a nightmare, but you keep doing it for the thrill. Well, this is reality, you only live it once, so wake up from your dream. But just for tonight, let the lines get blurred, let your thoughts be free, let your thoughts be free.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the latest Elite FPL podcast with myself, Steve-O. Unfortunately, there is no Jason. He sounds like he's under the weather at the moment. I don't know the exact details, but he said he's going to be back tomorrow for Sunday surgery. We have got Dan, but before I bring Dan on, right? So my plan tonight to celebrate the day of laughter, the fifth. Today is the 5th year. Actually, the 1st of November, Dan. You won't be able to hear Dan, but the 1st of November is actually our birthday. And I've actually literally just found that out because I was scrolling through YouTube to find our very first live stream, and it was on the 1st of November 5 years ago. And what I wanted to do was put it up on the screen instead of Alex Follow's team. I just wanted to put that up for clickbait, so people can say that Steve-O's got Solanke in his team, and along with what's his face, Mikalenko, arsehole. But I wanted to put the original stream up on the screen, and then you guys can like go along to it and everything like this. And then I've just discovered this. So I'm going to bring Dan in now because he doesn't know anything about this. Good evening, Dan, the OG. Dan? Okay.
Good evening.
Dan, what's going on with your audio? You sound like you're in a submarine, mate. Dan?
I am still here.
Oh, here we are. Good. There we are.
Hello.
Oh, hold on a minute. We've got a super chat that's coming. If you just
The FPL Juice Show donated £4.99 through super chat. Happy birthday, light brown skin.
light brown skin. What? Elitist. So that's Natasha. Right, sorry, I'm confused at the moment because desktop audio is all over the place. So thank you. I'm assuming this is Nick or James. It's one of the two. Same person. Thank you for that. You really didn't have to donate. That came through as, hold on a minute, Ray's just sent a donation. Ray. Hello, Steve. I hope you're well. You going to say anything? No? Brilliant. Thank you, Nick or James. That will go towards nothing because I don't see any money for this show. Natasha's been a member for 25 months. Poor you. Happy 5th birthday, Elitist. Ray just saying happy anniversary. Natasha sending 100. I don't know. Is it rupees, Natasha, in India? Fuck me. We're getting more money today than ever, I think, in the past 5 years. Thank you to someone called Haxlet. And it's saying here, let's celebrate their first super chat on a live stream. Thank you, Haxlet. I don't even recognise the name. But this I want to bring on this blasted comment. Dan, do you want to just quickly talk to the audience and just quickly say hello? Because it wouldn't be an Elite FPL stream without problems. Thank you, by the way, to these guys.
Yeah, it's very. Thank you, everybody. Good evening to you all. Pleasure to be a guest on the show again. And yeah, thanks for your kind donations. And can we believe it? 5 years of Elite FPL that will be celebrated tonight with myself and Steve, and obviously you, the audience. Yeah,
just quickly say hello to. I don't know if Team Alex is Alex Volo. I'm going to assume it is. So hello, Alex. That's a Clockwork Orange joke. PM, good afternoon. Anguilla, Fire Talk, Matthew Zaishi, Gobby, FPL Bailey, Animations here, Gravy Dave, Kickers, fuck me, Blondes here. Blimey, it must be a special day of Blondes here live. Podner, good afternoon. Stewie Bryan, there is a name in there. I can't read it at all. I apologise. Andre D, Peter Scully, and Amanda Hugginkis, Colin Bolger, Heggis, Natasha, FPL Managers Desk, Lord AJ, Neomorphis. Good afternoon, everybody. Nickel James from what do you call it? FPL Juice. I've completely forgotten the bloody name. We just had another donation come through. Wow. They must feel sorry for us. John, I really want to read this comment from 5 years ago because it is an essay. It's brilliant. FPL Harry's here. Good. Oh my goodness. John Harris has been a member for 48 months, one of the OGs. I think he's been around here longer than you, Dan. Congratulations on 5 years of the most real, honest and unique FPL content. Never change. Wait until this comment, John. Oh, you're going to be loving this. Hello, Harry. Welcome, my friend. Peter Scully and Dan has donated $20 bloody. Would you believe?
Wow.
Haxlick donated £5 through super chat.
That is crazy.
Absolutely unreal. These people being able to spend this amount of money on this stream tonight. But no, genuinely, thank you. It's going to go towards nothing because me and Jason see none of it.
Steve-O, what about my appearance fee?
Donated $20 through.
Yeah, we'll go to Dan's appearance fee. Yeah, good thinking there. FPL Harry's been a member for nearly 2 bloody years, Harry. Is this why you're doing so well, listening to us? PK7 has been a member for... Why has everybody become Why is it automatically all coming through now? PK7 saying, happy birthday, the best channel on YouTube. Well, we'll find that in 2 seconds. Can I read this damn comment, Dan, from 5 years ago now?
Go for it.
So this is a comment, everybody, from 5 years ago. If you ever want to watch the original live stream, it was entitled Elite FPL Game Week 11 Preview Fantasy Football Live Stream. This is the first ever comment on a video from someone called Kana Binol. Clearly not around anymore. This is what he says, Dan. It's a long one, by the way. It's probably the longest comment I've ever read. This puts some of the members' comments into perspective. Sup, lads? Gabriel Derop's been a member for, let's quickly read it out, 43 months. Him and John are having a fight at the moment. Who's been the longest member? Yeah. Sup, lads? Enjoyed the content. Keep it up, and I'm sure you will build up traction with more views / subs. Feedback. Audio better than last time, but still some crackling and stuff. I think maybe you could get better mics. I listen to these podcasts while driving, and the crackling etc. at volume isn't ideal. In my opinion, if I was attempting an FPL channel, I'd spend a lot of time trying to think of unique ideas, USPs, differentials to make your channel stand out from the crowd. I subscribe to FPL Family, FPL Scout, Andy, J&O, Football Wizards, the General and Cougars. So with all those channels further set up than you, how will you stand out? Whenever I watch these things, the majority of the viewers really just want to hear about the players they own or could bring in. And hope to know exactly how they are going to do in the next few game weeks. They watch these channels because they want to do better at the game. So if I was making a channel on FPL, I'd try to think of ways to feed that demand. I'm glad we took that advice, Dan.
It's interesting feedback, though. It's a very thoughtful comment, very measured comment. Yes, I think I remember reading that one.
Hold on. He's added a comment to his comment. Nice one, fellas. I like the touch with the history and the score predictions. Plus, you lot seem like you've got good charisma to carry the show. So looking forward to see the channel progress over the seasons. Never heard of him, Dan.
I do vaguely remember reading that comment because obviously it was the first one we ever had. But yeah, never to be seen again.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? The world of YouTube. By the way, everybody, it'd be great if anybody's new around here. Hit the subs. What does Ash say on FPL Juice? Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button, yeah. And help the channel grow, yeah. But yeah, it's been weird, Dan, because you are literally the opening of the first ever stream, would you believe? It's you, Dan.
Of course.
Dan, are you alright? You seem a bit quiet, mate. You don't seem to be wanting to speak at all.
Well, I'm just letting you speak amongst all the comments, and I'm just finishing off watching Arsenal Burnley. Actually, that's what I was trying to tell you before we started, but it's literally just finishing now. So I'm just seeing some of our players get kicked in the head by your players, but it's nearly over now. So.
Haxlet, who donated just a minute ago, is saying that this is his first year doing FPL. God, is this the same guy that commented on the first stream and never to see him again? Enjoy your content, Steve, and the Elite FPL team. Thank you, Haxlet. Thank you. Harry saying, can we watch the first stream back altogether? Unfortunately, I don't know how to bring it up because it is being annoying. It's telling me that I can't access it on YouTube. That was what I was going to do, to be honest with you. I really wanted to look back on it and everything, but unfortunately I don't know how to do it. So Matt Smith has kindly donated $9.99. Thank you. Really, you don't have to do this. Many happy returns. 5 years young. What better way to celebrate than a battle of FPL wits? Yeah, good. I was listening to the Office podcast actually back, and it did make me laugh a bit about the true stories about when individuals that you get on with really well at work. Thank you for becoming a member for the past 2 months, Shagair. Happy birthday, thank you. We need an anniversary every week to actually turn this into a full-time job. Harry, by the way, congratulations to Harry as well, who's turned this into a full-time job. By weird coincidence, I was listening into a podcast with Mark Goldbridge, Dan, or Brent, as he's really called, as I found out today. Did you know that? His name's Brent.
Really?
Yeah, his first name's Brent, and his last name's an Italian name like D'Angelo or something. For real.
It's random.
Yeah, it's he uses Mark Goldbridge as an alter ego because of when he was in the police force, he wasn't allowed to use his real name, so he had to use a different name, and it's been Mark Goldbridge ever since. And the only people, Brent DeSera, I do find it ironic that he's a massive Office fan, and he's called Brent. And he actually finally admitted on this specific podcast that he puts on a character when doing the United Stand, or more specifically, he's perfected his character essentially to where, it's him, but he's just upped it. A bit like wrestling back in the Attitude Era, where they would up the character themselves as a wrestler and whatnot. Thank you to Denver. He's been a member for 32 months. Saying here, Dan, about Trossard, of course.
Yeah, another good performance from my
many happy returns.
My new up and coming favourite player.
What better way to celebrate than a battle of FPL wits?
Let's talk about today's games quickly, because as we let Denver's message come through on the audio here, once it goes through, here we go. Go. It's not going to play that message now? Oh, it only does it for the super chats. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, let's just quickly talk about today's games, because it's been an absolute shambles from an FPL point of view. I have absolutely, apart from Alex Volo, who's had a really, really good game today, most people have done pretty poorly, apart from someone who I'm speaking to who has got Saliba. I had him as my captain on Sky, which is just mental. But yeah, my team has got a whopping 1 point. In fact, I've got 1 point, Dan, from my team. My 2 players that I brought in got me a total of technically -2. So I got -2 from Lascelles and Martinelli, and the only other players that got me points today, who were the only players playing, were Son 2, Trippier 1. You've done a bit better today. I think you're on 16 points, is that right?
15 points, yeah.
15, and your player, did you actually bring in Saliba?
Yeah, I took your advice, so cheers for that.
Yeah.
I was going to bring Gabriel in, but then I thought, well, you never know. But obviously, Gabriel did start, but Saliba getting the second goal there. Do
you want to talk about that game, Dan? Because I was listening to it on the radio.
I've literally just watched it back now. It was closer than obviously we expected when we predicted it last night. I think the first half we really didn't up the tempo enough. You guys kind of you did the low block, defended well. Goodmanson had a good chance. Raya made a good save. You had obviously got Brownhill, who got the goal at the Emirates the last time you actually beat us back in was it November 2020, I think it was, or December, one of the two. But yeah, I mean, Trossard. I think the main thing that stood out for me from the game is obviously your keeper Trafford. You know, he is young. I mean, he obviously was in the under-21s for England. I don't know how old he is, but at the corners and whatnot, and obviously with the crossing for the first goal, it's kind of lack of physicality got exposed, shall we say? And the second goal was soft defensively from you guys. Third goal, Zinchenko, that another player that people considered like a bit of a karate scissor kick. Nice goal, and yeah, I'm obviously pleased with the win, but I think there's signs of improvement from you guys. You certainly had there were opportunities in the second half as well, and it wasn't the sort of straightforward game we both expected it to be, really.
Just want to say, Dally Pool has kindly donated £3.16. I'm assuming there's a deliberate reason sending in £3.16. Has it got to do with Stone Cold Steve Austin? Congratulations on the 5 years. Thank you, Dally Pool. Shaghire, though, has gifted 5 EliteFPL memberships to Animations, Matt Rooney, A. Dawson, Jinesh and Patel, and David Westrope. That's 6 people that I slag off throughout the members' videos. So you're stuffed, basically. Yes, this is Alex Vollo's team up on screen here. Yeah, I was listening into the game, Dan, today, and all I kept hearing was Saka, 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 and I'm just like, I know he's going to do something, because the second I said that I'm going to be bringing in Martinelli, because I felt that he was the guy that could have a really good explosive game in this particular fixture against us. The second I hear Saka announced he's playing, I'm just like, it ain't happening today. And the first half, it was all about Saka. And then the second half, it was all about Martinelli and Zinchenko. All I kept hearing was Martinelli's name. Saka basically was barely playing in the second half. We, by all accounts, defended very, very well. The goal, I've just seen the 3 goals. The goal from the Saka looping header over and Trossard making a daring run into the box and nearly dislocating his shoulder to score the goal. These things happen. The Zinchenko wonder strike, yeah, well done. It's the same as the Brownhill goal, to be honest with you, a goal from absolutely nothing. And of course, we can see the set-piece goal. Ironically, Trossard took over the corner kicks that Martinelli would normally take. But do you know if there's a reason why that happened in the second half? Would you have any idea at all?
No, not at all, really. I mean, all I can say is that Trossard, I'm really glad he started. Like I said, his performance on Wednesday, and I have felt this recently, that in recent weeks I've been frustrated he's not been starting. And you look at his output the second half of last season, and even just watching that game today, I'm thinking, for now, maybe Trossard is our man, really.
Yep.
Ahead of Nketiah. And I just wonder how many people watching tonight took a bit of a gamble and brought him in.
Well, apparently Denver did.
Wow.
I know Lynn FPL on Twitter, she captained him.
Freaking out.
And obviously I mentioned last night that he could be a really good punt for anybody that's going into this game thinking, as maybe as a one-off or whatever. He could be someone to look at. And like I said, I just went with Martinelli because I felt that there's a very, very good chance that he could really, really go off today. Annoyingly, he didn't. He just... But he did nothing, Dan. I mean, you said you watched the game. I mean, was there ever a chance that he could have got on the score sheet? Because all I kept hearing was, he's about to cross it in, he's found nobody. Oh, there's a pass on. Oh, he doesn't pass it. Oh, he gets it into Zinchenko. Zinchenko gets the cross. And I think he had a couple of shots. That was about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it wasn't really, to be fair. This is the thing with Martinelli. Sometimes he can deliver, and other times he kind of overdoes it. I think in the first half there was a bit of a crossfield ball where he should have just sent it over to Tomiyasu, who tried to reach Saka and gave it away, but wasn't his best performance. But I think, it's credit to you guys, defended really well in the first half. We weren't really on it. Obviously Vieira getting sent off in the second half as well was really disappointing. But yeah, I mean, like a lot of these games today, the way it went wasn't the way we expected it to go, really.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew Taishi. Cheers, pal. 39 months as a member. Thank you for all the content. No, cheers. Thank you for being part of this massive journey. I've just been sidetracked because I'm only 57 points off top spot in Sky, Dan, which is just... I'm 440th in the world and 57 points off top spot, and I'm only in the Burnley mini league. Honestly, I'm still angry that I didn't do that Saliba move 3 weeks ago. But I'm only 3 points off top spot, Dan. 3 points clear of third, 3 points behind first, and I'm about 16 points clear of fourth. Just insane. And talk, because the reason why I bring that up is because whenever I look at people like Alex Volo, whose team is up on screen at the moment, I think, what is it? What is it that they seem to do that whenever they seem to play this game at the moment, they touch, everything they touch turns to goal? So, for instance, Mikalenko coming through with a goal and assist. Solanke with 2 bloody goals. But then you could argue it's the same for you, Steve. What on earth are you doing in Sky, which is anything you touch seems to turn to goal, which is a very, very fair point. The answer is I'm doing nothing other than just going with a gut instinct and playing logically. It's a shame you can't do that in FPL, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've kind of like now with hindsight, Dan, I've regretted the Martinelli move. I'm a bit wishing now again, it's all with hindsight, because if Martinelli had actually come through with at least one attack and return, like just matching Saka basically, I'd have just been content with it. But the fact that Saka now gets another bloody attack and return, I just think, I just wish I just went with Saka now, because I now know that I want him moving forward. I am tempted, Dan, to just bring him in straight away for Martinelli, just get that done. What do you think? Or do you just think, just hold on to Martinelli? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it all made, like you said, all in hindsight and whatnot, it all made sense. But, I mean, I did smile when I saw Saka on the lineup today, because I thought, more mind games from Arteta. He's done this before, hasn't he? Saying about he's going to be in, he's not trained or he's a doubt, and then he just loves to play him, doesn't he, really? So, I mean, the next game's Brentford away. So, yeah. I prefer Saka, really, personally. But that will be a tough game.
How did...
Then after that, we've got, was it Luton and Wolves?
Yeah.
But Wolves did well today.
Well, yeah, just before we get on to that, so how, in your opinion, did Saka look from a, quote, injury point of view or a fatigue point of view? Or, does he look like he's been overplayed, or does he just look as his normal self?
Yeah, I mean, he looks fine. He was on the touchline, and it was a difficult game because you guys did the low block, as they say these days. But I thought, he looked good. I mean, it wasn't the most fluent Arsenal performance, and they did make the point. I was watching it on this it's like a Northern Irish channel or something, but Neil Lennon was on there. But yeah, they were just saying that I think it was 11 of our 22 goals this season have been from set pieces, and only 11 obviously from open play. But no, I thought I couldn't tell he was injured, so yeah, still looks good.
I'm now going to lose us a subscriber. So, good old JR, he's saying here, I hate it when people do this, i.e. me. You brought Martinelli in for a reason. There can't be enough new information in 1 week to make you want to go sideways like that. Well, I can. Because if you actually watch the streams and everything, I said that I wanted to go with Martinelli for pretty much a 1 week punt because I thought he was going to tear Burnley a new one. Instead, he did fuck all. And the player that is the most consistent player decides to pop up. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating really from that point of view. You mentioned Spurs there. That really, again, Spurs letting me down from a Sky point of view because I had Porro in my team. I mean, admittedly came through with 6 points with an assist, but they concede in the I mean, what minute did they concede? Like the 82nd minute, if not later than that, maybe the 88th minute.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we did say it though last night. I mean, we both went for the Tottenham win, but with the injuries, and football is a game of momentum and confidence. Obviously, they lost on last Monday, and obviously whatnot with the send-ins off, Maddison out. Wolves have had some victories this season, and I mean, I've still got Son, but apart from that, I didn't have any FPL investment in this game, and I'm just really happy to see Wolves get the 3 points.
Yeah, Spurs scoring after I think it was like the 2nd minute or something like that with Brennan Johnson. And they were holding out and out and out. I mean, all I kept hearing on the radio is Porro went in hard there. Is he going to get a yellow card? No, he doesn't. But then Lo Celso will get a yellow card for kicking the ball away, yet despite the fact that Porro was kicking the ball away, nothing. And all I kept thinking is, it's pathetic, really. And I know we all like this. Porro, don't get a yellow card. Don't get a yellow card. Just stay with it. Stay in the game. Keep that clean sheet. And by all accounts, it was all Wolves. They just couldn't hit the barn door. And then, like I say, the last blasted 2 minutes of the game or whatever, they pop up with 2 goals from Lamina and Sarabia, who also got an assist as well. Yeah, another game that I was in. Well, there was another 3 games that happened today with Crystal Palace. Well, the history predicted if a team's going to win, it's going to be in a high-scoring game. That's exactly what happened. Crystal Palace 2, Everton 3, Dan, with Edouard and Eze getting the goals for Crystal Palace, Decore, Garner and Mikalenko. God. Getting the goals there. Any thoughts on this and the end result?
I mean, that was the game we said was going to be boring last night, and I did sort of joke saying, well, it would be ironic if that's the game that's got all the excitement. And Decore getting those attacking returns. He was the man that got the goal at the end of last season that, solidified their place in the Premier League. And I'm just amazed at the amount of goals in this game, considering we both thought it would be a tight affair.
Yeah.
I'd start considering Everton assets.
I wouldn't be going anywhere near Everton assets unless my name's Alex Volo, who's, Mikalenko's Ukrainian, isn't he? So I think he's backing his fellow countryman there. I wouldn't be going anywhere near Everton, to be honest with you. They're just... From a fantasy football asset, you can forget it. Talking of forgetting it from a fantasy football asset, I mean, Mr. Reed just summed up Man United in 3 words. That was awful. Man United beating Luton. Well, we pretty much said last night what I think you even said 1-0. Lindelof with the goal. Man United 1, Luton 0. The highlight suggested that Man United were all over Luton. That's what the highlight suggested. How Højlund didn't score the goal from the Rashford cross. Have you seen the highlights, Dan?
I haven't, no.
Quite an extraordinary save from their goalkeeper, Kaminski. The ball just comes flashing across the goal. Højlund heads it and somehow Kaminski keeps it out. It ends 1-0, but by all accounts, it was a very, 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 very poor performance. I think maybe because Man United fans are expecting them to beat someone like Luton comfortably. They get the 3 points. I said to Mr. Reed that I think this is probably a team which aren't particularly happy playing for Ten Hag, and they may be doing... when in any team orientated job, whether it's work or football, whatever, sport or whatever, when you're not really enjoying the management, you just can't be bothered to work for them anymore, and it almost forces them out the door. Do you think maybe this could be the thing that's happening with Man United at the moment?
Oh yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of discontent there with the, obviously the Sancho stuff running on in the background, the Anthony stuff, this sort of noise around Rashford as well. Yeah, they're sort of disjointed. But I mean, look, a win to win after losing in the Champions League in midweek. And obviously they got another clean sheet. That's 2 clean sheets in the last 2 Premier League games. So any Harry Maguire owners at 4.2 million, I think he is, will be happy. But it's not exactly vintage Man United, is it? And I think it's at the moment in these games, it's just the sort of experienced players getting them through. But yeah, it's not a game that it's going to live long in the memory.
Podler's defending Ten Hag here. I don't think anybody's having a go at Ten Hag, but he's had 51 victories in his first 80 games as manager. No manager at Man United has done that in over 100 years, Dan.
Well, I mean, they did. He got them in the Champions League, and got them the League Cup last season. Got them to the FA Cup final. So they had a good season last season, relatively speaking. But it's just the way that this season started. I mean, the season last season started terribly as well, and they managed to pick it up. But I just think the signings haven't quite clicked. Højlund, I think, will come good though. I liked him when he was at Atlanta. I can't say I saw all the games, but it was a player that, obviously seen the highlights of and kept a tab on. And I do have a feeling, he's got a few goals, particularly in Europe recently. I feel that, by the end of the season that he will do well.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like I said to my uncle, actually, that with Burnley, for example, I think that it's going to be one of those where I think second half of the season we're going to do really well, but it'd be too late because teams like Bournemouth, for example, are going to win the odd game here or there, and they did today by beating, again, thanks to Alex Vollo's player in Solanke. I'm not bitter. 2-0 against Newcastle. Where did this come from your local team, Dan? I mean, Nick Pope in the game got 8 bloody saves.
Wow. I mean, it's funny you said, because you were asking me yesterday what it's like in Bournemouth Town when, obviously these big teams come to Bournemouth. And I don't know what made me do this, but I saw these proper Geordies coming. There's like 4 or 5 of them. Some of them skinheads, bear in mind, wearing their Newcastle shirts. And for some reason, I don't know what, I think it was a stream that was in my head from last night. And I went, come on, Bournemouth. And they did smile at me. But yeah, I've seen a few Geordies in town today, but I wasn't, I say I wasn't expecting it. I predicted 2-1 Bournemouth. And, game under the floodlights, Newcastle injuries, defeat in midweek after the Lord Manor show, beating us last week. I'm so happy Bournemouth won. But yeah, obviously if you've got Newcastle assets, you're not going to be as cheerful.
No, and I've got 2 defenders in my team there, in Trippier and Lascelles. Oh, guess who didn't play? Well, I don't know if he didn't play or not, but guess who didn't start today, Dan? For Newcastle. We talked about him last night. No, the other one.
What, a defender?
This isn't FPL juice, mate. just it is a defender, yeah. Who?
No, go on. I can't remember.
Well, there we are. There's a guess for you, Nick. Nickel James Dan can come on for guess the player. He'll use his minute up. It was Livramento. He didn't come on at all today. And I know Harry brought him in today thanks to I was watching Streamception and he did although weirdly, despite the fact that he did a generator machine for him to pick which one out of Lascelles and Livramento, and it was saying to pick Lascelles, he still apparently went with Livramento. But yeah, I had double Newcastle today, Trippier and Lascelles, brilliant. In fact, I've only had 4. I've said I've only had 4 players playing. Let us know in the chat how many players you've had playing. In fact, yeah, how many players, chat, have you actually had playing today? I've had 4. Dan, you've had 3, I believe. Saliba, Saka, and Son. So you've had 2 attacking returns from out of your 3 players. You must be very happy with that.
Yeah, I'm pleased. I mean, it's always nice as well when you. I was so set on getting Gabriel, so I'm so glad that you you gave me that advice last night. But and obviously scoring for my team and my FPL team, Saliba, and obviously Saka starting. So yeah, it's been decent. I mean, bloody hell, Steve. I'm actually thinking about it now. 16 points last game week. I still can't get that out of my head, considering when I looked at my team. So I'm nearly on the same points I had last week, and there's only a couple of my players that have played.
Well, talking of a couple of players playing, Livramento actually came on, thanks to the chat there. I've just checked just now. Yeah, he came on. Haxlet with another £5 donation there. I hope you guys do this for another 5 years. I can imagine it's tough to do all the best. We'll get onto that actually in a minute, Haxlet, because we will get serious. Just looking at the chat at the moment, Bruce had 3 players, Rob Jones 4, Matthew Zaishi 4, Fermema FC 3. Again, if you are brand new around here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. It'd be really nice to hit 7,500 subscribers. It actually would be really nice to hit that. Maybe if we'd have taken the advice of that lad, it could have been a girl. We may be at the 14,000. You never know. Podler's had 7 players playing today. Macken has had 5. Heggis has had 4. That's crazy. 7 players, Podner. FPL Manager's Desk has donated kindly. Not going to say anything.
£5 through Super Chat. Hope you guys do this for another 5 years. I can imagine it's tough to do. All the best.
Yeah, that took about half an hour to come through on that. FPL Manager's Desk says, happy birthday to many more. Buy a protein shake. I'll get Dale to get me them for free. Give me the ones that are absolute garbage. I think that's the reason why he actually did it. Macken saying his players that he played today were Trippier, Gordon, Son, Saliba and Saka. FPL Dutchland got 5 as we get this super chat coming through from FPL Manager's Desk, as it will play out loud right now. You going to read out? Come on. No, not going to read out. Clearly, it's too difficult for an AI bot to read that message out. FPL Manager's Desk. Ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, so, like I said, I've had 4 players playing. I've got pretty much the same standard as what most people have got. You've had, like I said, you've had 3. Jason, I believe, has only had... I don't think he's had anybody today, Dan. Dan.
Hello, yes.
Yeah. I was just saying, Jason, I don't think he had Trippier and Son. Of course, so we had 2 players playing together. His differentials on me are, well, it's quite a lot. Simicast, Bowen, DRB, Watkins. And he's got Haaland captain, Dan.
It's a good choice. Like we said last night, I mean, the captaincy this week, it's not that obvious, is it, really? There's a few candidates. I mean, some people would have gone for Saka. And it was the typical toss-up between Salah and Haaland. But, yeah, I still think that Chelsea-Man City game will be tight tomorrow. But I wouldn't be surprised if it comes good for Jason.
I'm just looking at the... Excuse me. Updated Torbay Elite League. I'm now 10 points behind you exactly. I'm 2 points behind Sai, and I'm 20 points exactly off Gary Monday up top. And you're 10 points behind Gary Monday as well. And you're 2 points ahead of your friend Alex Loader.
That's good to hear. He's been trying to get in my head for the last week about blimmin' Alvarez.
All right.
I was getting an itchy trigger finger about Alvarez because I wasn't happy with his returns. He seemed to be playing a bit deeper for Man City, and I was saying, well, I'm getting pissed off with this bloody Alvarez, and talking about Nunes and Watkins and whatnot. But he's like, oh no, you don't need to do this. And to be fair though, Nunes last game week against Luton, he had so many opportunities and missed that howler of a chance. But I'm sure that he'll return tomorrow. But I think my concerns primarily this week were my defence, really sorting that out, because I mean I've even still got worries about it. Timber Cass, will he play against Brentford?
Hopefully not.
Sure.
Hopefully not.
If he doesn't, then it's Colwill.
Well, he'll come on. If he doesn't play, he'll come on for 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, this is the thing. So I didn't really fancy taking a -4 for that side of it. But yeah, we will see. We will see what happens with Jason's captaincy tomorrow.
In the updated, as of right now, right this second, the YouTube chat league, Vijay is top by 18 points. Peter Scullion, who's here, is in second spot. He's only got 7 points, mine, but I'm assuming he's not had many people play. And the answer is he had Gabriel, Trippier, Martinelli, Son. He's still got the usual suspects, Areola, Cash, but there's slight differentials in Bowen, Adingra, and Darwin. So he's got a nice couple of differentials there. Ramanathan's doing well this season. He is 6 points behind Peter Scullion, and Harry Dawson is 4 points behind Ramanathan. Alex Volo has climbed up to 7th. 26 points he's on right now. He, like I said, he had Mikolenko and Solanke coming through with him again. The bonus points haven't been added. He's got Ferguson, Captain Dan.
That is a differential. I mean, they've got... Remind me, Brighton are playing?
Sheffield United.
Yeah, I mean, Matomo. I did have a little moment where I was like, would I be brave and captain him? But, I mean, you look at it over the course of the season, no disrespect, but Sheffield United and Luton. I know Luton haven't been getting ripped apart each week. Their narrow defeat today. Sheffield United have taken some beatings so far. If you're feeling a bit brave within your sort of mini league and whatnot, and it's kind of nice to take a break from the captaincy of Salah, Haaland. I was thinking about this last night after the stream. It's just it just gets a bit boring, doesn't it? Oh, is it Salah this week? Is it Haaland this week? So fair play to him, really.
The bonus points have actually been added, so that's been a very, very quick turnaround. So top spot of the members league, Andrew Peskett, he's 9,000th in the world. He had Saliba today, Trippier, Saka. He captained Haaland. He also had Son. He captained Haaland, and his differentials. He also had Bruno Fernandes. So his differentials for tomorrow are Mbeumo and Diaby, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, Mbeumo, he has been stealing the spotlight, obviously, with Tony out. So tomorrow's game is obviously difficult. I'm not sure on that one, but it is nice to have some different. I look at my team, and I don't know. I feel like I need to mix things up a little bit after the international fixtures, and maybe I've tried really hard to avoid -4s this season so far, because obviously they tally up so much over the course of a season. But I might have to change things around a little bit just to help.
So the members league, as it stands right this second, is Andrew Peskett first, Tyler just behind him, only by 4 points. Vigard is then in third, just only a point behind Tyler. And then we have in fourth spot Peter Scullion, who we've just mentioned, on 717. All these players doing very, very well overall rankings. And in the Rivals League, we've got Vijay again. Daniel Trebarak, which I believe is Cal in the Discord. Then we got Peter Scullion, Ramanathan, also fourth there too. And Vijay, he has, if I look at his team tomorrow, he's got a bit of a differential in Cafal. So he's got double West Ham defence, so Areola and Cafal. Other differentials, well, what do you make of this move, Dan? You were talking about Alvarez. Unless he's playing bench boost. No, he's not. Listen to this for a team, Dan. Areola in goal. Kufau, Trippier, Cash. Diaby, Son, Martinelli, Saka, Salah captain. Watkins, Archer. It's his first 11, okay? He's 7,000th in the world. This is his bench. Bournemouth's Neto, who got a clean sheet and bonus points. Poro, who got 5 points today. Simicas and Alvarez.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting to me because Alvarez is obviously my striker up front with Haaland, and I've got Archer on the bench, so he's done the opposite of what I've done, and he's 7k in the world. But his first two players on his bench have returned, so maybe he's going to have one of those game weeks where it all goes wrong. So maybe I'm right. I don't know, but and no Haaland?
No Haaland, no.
It's interesting. So I mean, that midfield is magic, really. When you were reading out that midfield, it was like music to my ears. So
I mean, Archer over Alvarez, though.
Well, I mean, he did play well last game week, but like I say, Alvarez, he has in the last few games not been returning. Seems to be dropping a bit deeper in some of the games that I've watched. I don't know. Maybe the guy's just playing with his gut instincts and having fun, and not watching too much FPL content.
Well, this is exactly the thing, isn't it? It's something which is a discussion point for many managers or FPL players out there, where they unfortunately like a lot, consume a lot of content, and there's like that. We go back how relevant that comment is from the 5 years ago of the individual who, you know, says that people watch this content because they want to know about how well a player is going to do in the future months, etc., etc. So I'm just looking at the moderator league here. 43 points behind top spot in Blonde, 37 points behind Harbour Boy, 26 points behind Paulie. I mean, it just gets grim. The closest I've got is 8 points behind Armand Dillon, and then obviously 10 points behind you, 11 points behind Brew, 17 points, which is it's getting a bit bigger now, to Gabriel de Rock. So I'm kind of really hoping tomorrow for something to go my way, but looking at my team, I can't bloody think what differentials I've got on others. My double Newcastle defence was a big differential. Oh, Matoma and Douglas Luiz. They're my two differentials, Dan. What are we confident in them maybe returning tomorrow? Or are you just like, nope, Steve-O, not a chance of them doing anything to help you?
Like I said, Matoma, I mean, I've got him as well. I mean, I think he's got a good chance of returning. Villa, good fixture. I mean, I've got John McGinn, obviously Cash as well, that most people have got. But yeah, Douglas Luiz, I mean, they both got favourable fixtures. So I'm more Matomo than Luiz in terms of who will get more higher points return.
Yeah, that beautifully links me into this channel and what I'm about to say now, which is obviously I'm hoping Salah outscores Haaland for my rivalry with Jason. But it is a channel, isn't it, Dan, which has been built on rivalry, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to make a point, actually. So I know obviously we do this anniversary stream. I don't know if we did it last year, but I know we did it the year before. And we often talk about the origins of the sort of channel, and obviously the league as well. So I actually, the other week, I was looking through my phone. I was on one of the apps that I used to use to put clips together. I actually used it for your art of training stuff, and I found a clip actually, and I realised I never really mentioned this before. So for those listening, those watching, the origins of the league is the fact that we have Torbay Elite League, which is obviously people from Torbay who are in a cash mini league that we take very seriously, and we've done for many years as years have gone by. And we had a Facebook group with those people in the group, and I think it was yourself that started doing match reports each game week. Really nice match reports about who got what points and whatnot. And then I took that over, but we didn't really, we had a few nice comments and some interactions, and we kind of wanted to take that to the next level. And before we even had a conversation about doing this, doing a podcast, because one week I just couldn't be bothered to do a match report, I actually did a screen recording of the teams in the Torbay Elite many leagues. So in a weird kind of roundabout way, that was kind of the origins or the seeds of the idea to actually do a podcast that turned into a live stream. It was just me on my phone, screen recording. I think it was over the Christmas period actually, and I was just going through the league, picking out the teams, and just saying, this is what this that, and I called it Torbay Elite Fantasy Football. So I had a little graphic at the start with a Premier League badge or whatever it was. So that was like, in a way, the first ever kind of podcast, which obviously eventually became a stream.
I did ask on Twitter and YouTube for any comments regarding favourite, what does that even mean? Favourite moments from the live streams. Have a guess how many people responded, Dan?
4, 5?
If that. I think it just says everything about this channel. Don't bother sharing, commenting or anything. Yeah, we had a few people commenting, and the first one we had was from FPL Bailey. He says here, this is on YouTube, he said, always great having Dan on. Looking forward to the anniversary stream tomorrow. My gosh, as JR says, can't believe it's been 5 years already. I've been here for 4 years. Never forget that first season I started watching, and it was my first season playing FPL in the 2019-2020 season. Steve-O did a match of the day challenge with Lundstrom first sub for his 2 goals and clean sheet for 21 points, causing Steve-O to panic because he didn't remember the bench order while not sure if he was going to sub, whether he was going to get subbed on or not. Luckily he did. To think that the stream happened the day after Jason popped the cork in his face.
Oh, wow. God, yeah.
That stream was mad, wasn't it?
I was just like, when that happened, I think that we had people on, didn't we? Like Penguin and a few others on, and it was just like chaos. And Jason was quite inebriated, wasn't he, that particular night? And the stream went on for quite some time, but a much more calm affair tonight, really. But I mean, Steve, do you want to talk a little bit about the origins of the?
Well, let me just. I will do, yeah. I'll just quickly add on to this. So on Twitter, I just sent out the same generic tweet, to be honest with you. Any memories? One from Harbour Boy, the evil alien robot avatar from about 3 years ago. That's what Jason did. John Harris sent us in a clip, if you remember this one. It was when, well, I can't play it, but do you remember when... I don't even know who it was, to be honest with you, but whoever it was... Schmeichel saved the penalty and I nearly just broke down on stream, and it was Geordie Kev and Paul Lee involved in the in it. In fact, I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. Can you hear this?
Who's taking the ball?
Yeah.
Who's going to get the assist? Gundogan?
Gundogan at the shot, yeah.
Schmeichel's a bit of a penalty king as well, isn't he? Especially with that bloodline, like his old man, let's see.
No, he saved it!
Oh, you are kidding.
Oh, I saved it. Oh,
You're kidding.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, man.
He's hammered it to left and he's hit him on the knee or shin and he saved it.
Fuck off!
Oh,
Fucking hell! Oh, I can't be fucked with this fucking shit.
That there, right? If you listen again,
He saved it.
Fuck off!
if you listen to this,
Fucking hell! Oh, I can't be fucked with this fucking shit.
I nearly started crying then because this was. I spoke about this on a members video, I think, or Total Steve the podcast, and I can talk about it now. But that was at a point where I was just thinking of quitting Elite FPL full stop. I can't remember what year that was. It would have been about 3 years ago, I'm guessing. And that was at a stage where I'm just like, and funny enough, Mark Goldbridge, Brent, he was talking about this on this podcast he did about how many a time he feels like quitting. Occasionally he thinks about it now, but not as much so because it's now his job. But certainly 10 years ago, or like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, he was generally thinking of packing it all in. And I'm sure that was like 3 years ago now. And that was at a stage with Elite FPL where unfortunately me and Jason couldn't stream together at all. And it was almost like a divide, wasn't it? And it was just, the channel was just all over the place. And I fucking hated it. This was during coronavirus, if you remember, Dan. Well, obviously you'd remember. And it was one of those where I couldn't deal with streaming on my own anymore. My FPL seasons were doing abysmally. I hated it. And every single opportunity I had to claw any points on Jason or just rivals in general, it was just not happening. And when you're live streaming, we go back to Haxel's point of, or Haxlet point, what he said about it must be very tough doing live streaming, and it is tough. And when you're kind of just literally live talking as I am in a front room in a shitty house share in fucking Zone 4 London, and you've got X amount of people watching you, it's a very surreal thing, and it's very difficult because you are literally, as Martin Goldbridge says, you're literally live talking right now. It's not edited, it's not scripted, it's not someone saying, oh, cut that out. You can't say that. Stop, you can't speak. No, this is live. And that coronavirus era of fantasy football, I detested. And like I said, I'll be transparent. I remember I said this the other day. I was literally on the toilet, Dan, messaging you and Jason, and I said, I'm quitting. I can't do this anymore. I'm quitting. I've got my finger over the... Do you remember this, Dan? When I told you that I had my... Yeah. And you and Jason were like, just calm down, go to bed, do anything. Obviously I didn't do it. I think I just left it. I just threw the phone away and didn't come back to it for a while. But it is difficult, isn't it, Dan, doing this stuff?
I'll tell you what, it is difficult because, like, when you're... Particularly, I found it difficult with the Sundays when you haven't had a great game week, and I think it was the season Jason was doing really well, when you feel like... This is how I felt, anyway, that people are watching you and you almost feel like you're meant to be not the expert, but you're meant to know what you're talking about. And if you're having a crap game week after crap game week, it does get embarrassing, or you feel the pressure on you. But yeah, during the live stream as well, it's just magnified even more. I think during an actual game, like obviously that Schmeichel save, was it Aguero that missed the penalty? That one, I think.
God knows. I'm sure someone in chat will know.
Yeah, but it's sort of because people have their FPL meltdown moments, but they kind of have it in private, don't they? So, but yeah, like you said, the channel was a little bit all over the place. It was a weird time, obviously, with that feels like a long time ago, obviously, with games not being played with crowds, and it was just a different time, wasn't it, really? So, but thank God we're still here 5 years in.
Yeah, absolutely. John Harris also sent in a picture of still got the mug. I've still got it, actually. The mug that Jason designed at the time. Paulie saying, I've still got the audio from when Andy Salter smashed all the plates. And if you have got any memories, by all means, just write them in the chat right now if you've got any memories of this show, whether it's recent memories or old memories from whenever. Rob Jones just immediately saying, I still love the Vardy rant, Steve-O. By the way, can you elaborate on these things? Because I genuinely don't have a clue what.
I'll tell you.
The Vardy rant, is that the one on Twitter, do you reckon, Dan?
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's that, but I was going to chip in with my favourite Steve-O memory. I think it was a match of the day challenge, right? And if you remember, there was a season when Leicester beat Southampton 9-0 at Southampton's ground, and then this was the reverse fixture. And I can't remember the exact specifics of it, but I think you may have had Leicester defensive coverage in that game, potentially. And Southampton got their revenge. They won 2-1 that particular game. And I think Danny Ings scored a good goal. And you were really angry. You were raging. And then Danny Ings takes his t-shirt off and he has tattoos. And he went from complete rage to be like, oh, that's some really nice. It was just a switch from complete, just pure anger.
That was a match of the day challenge.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just a moment that came back to me.
Well, I generally don't remember that at all. I can't. The thing is, I said it to I can't remember who it was now. Probably you, to be honest with you. I do so much content, it's blurred into. Oh no, it was Mr. Reed, because he was talking about Steve Merchant and how, like, whenever Steve Merchant puts out an Instagram video or whatever, or a tweet, he always gets bombarded with XFM quotes. And I said to Mr. Reed, because Mr. Reed was like, oh, I wonder if he must surely remember some of these quotes and stuff. And I said, to be fair, he's actually come out and actually said that he knows that a lot of the comments that come on his social media videos or tweets or whatever, social media posts, he knows he gets bombarded with fans of The Office or XFM, and they just write things, and he genuinely doesn't know what they're talking about. It's the same for me. Like, we've just demonstrated here, the Vardy rant. I mean, you've just confirmed it was, and when Rob himself confirms when Jason had him captain, it was the tweets that went a bit viral. God, I remember when someone said that didn't go viral. I'm thinking, no, it did. It did. The whole of the FPL community knew about that. Jesus Christ. Feremi FC saying Boona was a memory. He's just got a real life at the end of the day. He's married. He's got a very, very hard. He works very hard in the industry that he works in. I believe he's a salesman. I could be completely wrong. I believe he's a salesman. Life takes over at the end of the day for people. It's the same as he's mentioned here with Llama. Llama unfortunately suffers with mental health issues, and his head, I believe, isn't in the right place. I can only comment on what these people say on Twitter. And unfortunately, these guys, at the end of the day, they, as we know, they went off to create their own channel and everything, and life takes over. And unfortunately for these guys, it's taken onto a back seat, and it's very similar, like I say, with myself and Jason. Over the 5 years, Jason's had. I mean, I can't talk on his behalf. This is why it'd be nice if he was here, but obviously he's not here. But Jason's had what? An era in which his industry got destroyed because of coronavirus. Like a lot of people who work with computers and various other industries, their industries got shat on, especially office work. I should have said office workers rather than computer workers. But anyway, and then he found a new job, and then he was out of another job, then he found another job, and his life's all over the place. And now he's his wife is now happily going to be giving birth to their second child, and Jason's going to be a very, very, very busy guy. And I think I think that's something, Dan, people forget, that this is a hobby. I always use your line, this is a hobby we take seriously, but we've actually got actual lives outside of this.
Yeah, I think it's also all the work that goes into the channel, isn't it? Like your moderator meetings, Jason's hard work on the website, you know, obviously all the graphical setup as well, your work on the history and the preparation for the show, and obviously, and doing YouTube shorts and doing your research before. There's lots of stuff that goes in behind the scenes, like I say, that people don't see. And I always make this point, because obviously I work in the social media marketing world, that like with the following you guys have got, it's taken a lot of hard work to get there, because people think you can just get this following easily. And what I'm going to say is that to anyone listening now that has found value in this stream, or has found value in the content for the last 5 years, help the guys hit the 7.5k mark. Subscribe to the channel tonight, because I'm sure some of you listening tonight might have not subscribed, and just be nice to see you hit that mark to mark the anniversary of the channel.
I think also as well, it's being honest, natural and real, rather than, and again, there's nothing wrong with this, but if you go down the path of what that first ever comment said, which is essentially what most FPL content this is these days, which is tips and advice, it's not what me or Jason are about, or even you to an extent. We can have a conversation, as we've always discussed to death, about football and how it can affect fantasy football and whatnot, but we don't really want to be specifically talking about one player, telling the audience the basic stats on this individual and then move on to the next player for like a 20-minute video. We just want to have, as Jason says, an open conversation about a sport that we love.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and the thing is, like, when we're having those discussions, naturally tips and advice will organically fall into the audience's lap, really, if that's what they're seeking. The discussion's there, and then that people can apply that to their team. People, of course, can come on the channel and get some advice and whatnot anyway. So it's just a more interesting way to do it, in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. Moving on to a few more comments here. For Remy FC saying, I remember when Jimenez scored a brace when everyone took him out. I don't know when the hell that was. Podner saying, the time when Jason was doing it's amazing what memories people have. And how they kind of actually have this in their thought process. The time when Jason was doing the draw for the Super Cup and spilled all the balls on the floor in the middle of it in the shed. I think there was one missing that he found at the last second. I do not, well, I vaguely remember that. I don't directly remember, but FPL Bailey saying the 9-0 game was on a Friday night, I recall. Yeah, I was covering it. In fact, I'm sure I was covering it in this in here. Rob Jones saying Jason's rant when doing a midweek stream on a United game. And of course, the donuts and vodka challenge, plus when you guys won the content awards. I'll be honest, I'm still angry about that, in the sense of, because it was during the coronavirus times. I know I should look at the positives. I know I should. But we were told that we won it 2 weeks before the live show itself. So we were just sat on our arses, just kind of like, yeah, we've won it. It wasn't a surprise to us. Like, when we actually won it, when Jason messaged me, and then he phone called me and he went, you're not going to believe this. We've won. We've won the football fantasy video award. And I went, I'm sorry, what did you just say? It was generally like a speechless moment. Like, what on earth are you talking about? And we just couldn't believe it. But they literally said in the email, but you can't tell anybody. It was just like, we've just been given this amazing news. We can't tell anybody for 2 weeks. So the moment I'm trying to think. There is something, I can't for the life of me think what it is. There's something really, really famous where the moment was taken from them because of something like that. I can't for the life of me think of what it was. It will come to me in a minute.
Well, Liverpool winning the league.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, people forget Liverpool won the league. What was it, 3 years ago, Dan? Maybe 2 years. 2 years ago. People forget it because no one was there. Weren't allowed to celebrate it. Nothing. Like, just fucking shit, mate. And yeah, so when we won the content award, it was just kind of like, yeah, we're still sat in our bedrooms or offices or in Jason's case, shed. And we know we've won it. You guys didn't, obviously. And I think the way they should have done it is just simply, I don't know if they do that now. I don't know if they did it because it was the coronavirus and it's just like, well, we can't bring you to, because it was going to be held at the Tottenham Hotspur stadium. And it'd been really cool to have met like a load of influencers or content creators, but unfortunately, nothing whatsoever. Peter Scullin saying, I enjoyed the match of the day challenge. It was rough for you, Steve, but it was great entertainment. And yeah, this is the thing, like people, again, until people do it themselves, they don't understand the anguish of the individual behind the microphone or the camera doing something that they've chosen to do, but realising how much is affecting them mentally, Dan.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's probably referring back to the... it was when Aston Villa got destroyed 6-1 by Man City, and I think Jay had captained his lucky charm, Aguero. And you were unaware of all of this. And
I remember being in Brixham specifically, I remember.
Yeah, with me, and I had to like kind of hold it in and not spill the beans sort of thing. But yeah, just I mean, I was like many people. I think that was the peak of the match of the day challenge when you did it on the Monday, and I remember tuning in and thinking, God, this is going to be absolute gold. Sorry, mate, but I just and I remember seeing the reactions in the live chat and everything. But I had another quite a nice memory that come back to my mind just then was when we both did the at your house in Paignton, did the sort of 3 o'clock kickoffs together. Do you remember that?
Yes, yeah.
I had because it was Burnley against Southampton. I had Bednarak as a bit of a differential. I think he got an assist for Redmond in that game. And but then Burnley got a late equaliser, and you were over the moon, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah, that is. I remember that because I went mental at the fact that we got a late minute equaliser or something like that to make it 1-1 or 2-2 or something. It was crazy. Jonathan Mahoney saying the Discord innovation set you apart from the rest, and still does. Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. I mean, I must admit, like, it's a shame that because of work commitments, me and Jason can't do as many streams as we used to with the audience, and we are going to bring on a very special valued member of the family in a minute of this community. Stuart Bryan saying, ironically, I come here when I'm tired of FPL. Your channel is the closest thing to an actual human conversation. Yeah, again, I do take pride in the fact that, well, we have a conversation, Dan. You know, and I'm not suggesting for 1 minute other channels aren't like that. You know, I'm not blind to the fact that there are a lot of other channels out there which do similar things, but a lot of it is very structured. Whereas, I mean, you could argue this is either a good thing or a bad thing about EliteFPL, but we're not structured, so it's kind of all over the place. But I think it does humanise us, Dan, in a way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people can relate to us because it's the conversations they're having, perhaps with their friends before the weekend of Premier League starts, and chats that they have maybe with their friends in the pub about FPL. I know I have those conversations, and it's just nice to hear it on like a live stream, really, rather than kind of generic tips and advice. We're the alternative, really. We're the real ones. So I think we should always embrace that.
Thank you, Men in Black, for that office quote there. I did it the other day, Men in Black, on my podcast. Slough's a big place. My world does not end in these four walls. I've got Reading, Aldershot, Bracknell, Didcot, Yateley, Winnersh. I could be everywhere, but Taplow. And also, I could be driving down the road at Burfield. Ridiculous. Buffy's saying here, the chair stream. I vaguely remember that, the chair stream. It's when Jason just walked off because he was so pissed off with something. Can you remember that? It was during the coronavirus, I'm pretty certain, Dan.
The chair stream?
He literally just left the chair on its own.
Yeah, vaguely. I feel like he's done that a few times though, right?
I think he has done, yeah. I mean, let's bring on a special guest. It is John Harris. It's very, 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 very rare for John to be joining us on Elite FPL. I'll do a Jason. I'll do an impression of Jason doing an impression of me doing an impression. All right, Johnny boy. Hello, John.
All right, Steve-O.
Good afternoon, John. Happy birthday, mate. It's your fifth birthday as well.
I know. Can't believe it. Unbelievable. I just wanted to come on and just share my gratitude, really, and just say a few words, because I'm sure I speak for apart from myself, as all the Elite FPL community as well. I just wanted to say thank you to yourself, Dan, and Jason as well for 5 years of Elite FPL content, 5 years of live streams, 5 years of Sunday surgery, 5 years of Elite FPL preview weeks, 5 years of the history, 5 years of all the rivalries and everything like that. So thank you ever so much, really. And what you may lack in subscribers, you probably definitely gain in the quality of the subscribers that you've got, because when people subscribe to this channel, it's because they really appreciate the work that you do, and I think you've created one of the best FPL communities and families out there. So congratulations on 5 years.
You're getting more emotional than me, John.
What a ride.
When did you... Yeah, go on, Dan.
No, I was just going to say thanks, John. I think he's made a really, really good point then, because, yeah, like you said about subscribers and whatnot, but when you think about it, like the Elite FPL community, and that's what people want, isn't it, really? I'm sure there's other channels with, bigger subscribers or whatever, but I feel like we feel quite close to our subscribers and our Elite FPL family, and there's that bond there. And I think, it's a really, really nice comment, John.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of love here, John, from the guys here. Men in Black saying, well said, John. Matthew Zaishi, the same thing. Ali Mack, Peter Scully, and Rob Jones. I think a lot of them have pretty much echo, well, as Jonathan Mahoney says, echo that John here's to another 5 years. Do you even remember when you first watched us, John?
Yeah, okay. I was thinking about it the other day, and it's nuts, really, because I've been playing FPL for probably 15, 20 plus years now, and I've played with like friends and family, but obviously no one appreciates or dedicates FPL like I do. I'm like a proper FPL nerd. So I remember sitting on the sofa one day, going through YouTube and just literally typing in FPL content one day, and a random video came up on YouTube. I think it must have been one of the early videos that I think you were sat on your bed with the pad, just going through the bloody history of about 5 years of previous results through these teams. And I was just, I can't even explain why I was hooked, but I was just hooked from that day one. And then ever since, obviously, I've been a member and have watched the channel grow. And, you've got the good thing about the channel is, the best thing is that you've never changed. You've always appreciated the community, and I think you've created a core set of followers that appreciate what you do, and that goes with the Discord as well. There's guys in the Discord that have made friendships over the last sort of 3-4 years. I've spoken to plenty of the guys in there over the time. I can't join it as much as I'd love to, but there's guys in there that have created these bonds, these rivalries, banter, and it's all because of you, really. These guys would never have met or have talked to each other. So, you should be really proud of what you've done over the years. And I think stick to what you're doing, and the subscribers will come. Just don't change, and stick to the community. And we appreciate everything that you've done. I think over the years, to see what you've done, like innovation-wise, there's not many channels out there that have done FPL call-ins, FPL live streams. I mean, you were one of the first channels to cover the Saturday 3 p.m. games, and I think a lot of the guys that were members were joining in, doing commentary on the games, weren't they? And that was a fantastic element of the channel going back a few years. And you still do it to this day, the Sunday surgery with the call-ins. It's all about us at the end of the day. I know it's the rivalry between you and Jason, which we all love. And we all love the Steve-O rant, of course, but, you always include us. Anyone that wants to come in and have their say or have a chat and talk about their team or whatever, they can do it at any time. So fair play to you. And just wish you all the best for the future, really.
I do think, like, whenever I only choose to listen into a couple of podcasts. We all know who they are. Bloody Planet FPL and FPL Juice at the moment. And I always find it surreal, especially on FPL Juice, whenever they just even mention my name. It's just really, really weird. But I can only imagine what it's then like for anybody watching this. And I'm kind of like slagging, not in a horrible way, but like slagging off whoever about something that they've done in FPL. It must feel really surreal for that person being called out by the host, and it's just like, oh, they've actually talking about my team rather than just me being an individual that's just enjoying the show. It's actually,
that's right,
I'm part of the group of people.
Yeah, you make it personal, and it's
that's the word I'm looking for.
Thing, I think that's the thing that set you apart from everyone else. I think over the years is that you do feel a part of the channel. Like, I know a lot of the guys will probably think the same in the chat, and people that are subscribed. You do, even though I suppose I don't come on as much as I did years ago. I still appreciate it, and like I say, the guys that have in the Hangouts chat that have been there for years have grown these relationships, and it's all down to you, and it's fantastic, really.
Yeah, it's the same Jason, isn't it? I'm sure. You go on.
Yeah. I was just thinking that Vardy rant, I'm sure, if I remember, was I'm sure Jason owned Vardy this game week, and he'd done nothing all game, and then they got a penalty towards the end of the game, and I think he missed the penalty, or the goalkeeper saved it, and then he had to retake it because the goalkeeper was off his line.
That's right.
So he retook the penalty, scored, and then I think he scored again towards the end. I think he got 2 goals in the last sort of 5 minutes of the game. So he was on a blank. I think Jason might have captained him, and then all of a sudden he's gone from a captaincy blank to like 26, 28 points. I think that's what set you off.
Yeah, and it was also, again, I reiterate this point, and I'm sorry to keep saying this, but like Mark Goldbridge, again, he's someone that I kind of relate with in a way, with what he talks about, and he was saying how when he wants to quit the challenge stuff, it's all about his mental state, and then it was the coronavirus era. This was a time in which everybody was going through shit, and I was at the time so angry at the fact that why am I, along with many, many millions of other people that have to work through that time, the one thing that I could just escape with an FPL is like going against me as well. And it just all just blew up in one go. And I remember specifically Jason was live streaming the game, and he was just the most miserable human being you can imagine. And I was sat there going, Jace, I was literally in my bedroom. And I'm like, this stream is fucking awful. It's dire. I'm miserable because of the whole situation we're all in. I'm just going to let this chat read out for FPL Bailey. we'll get to it in a minute, Bailey, but we'll let the algorithm talk about it if it says it.
FPL_Bailey donated $50 through Super Chat. Elite FPL leading the way. First to do the call-ins, now other channels are as well, along with Twitter Spaces. First to do walking and talking FPL outside in nature, and others are
Thank you, FPL Bailey. Basically, he's saying here, Elite FPL leading the way. First to do the call-ins, and now other channels are as well, as along with the Twitter Spaces. First to do the walking and talking FPL outside nature, and now others are following. Cheers to the 5 years, lads. No, thank you, FPL Bailey. You really didn't have to donate that amount of money. I really do appreciate it. And Michael Swedden, good afternoon, pal. I started playing FPL 2018. Elite FPL was the first channel I found. Been here since September 2018. Appreciate it all the way. Thank you very much. And Podder just saying here is what you were just saying, John, about Discord. We all call each other out every day in the Hangouts. MacBook Fatty, hello. And just want to say, if you are brand new around here, make sure you are hitting the subscribe button and the like button. It does help along the way. So I'm there during this coronavirus era watching my mate streaming the Norwich versus Leicester game. Yeah, that's it. It was Leicester versus Norwich. And I'm just like, the only thing that was getting joy out of it was the fact that Vardy had done nothing. I was listening on the radio. Vardy has done nothing. And then you're there, and I'm in my bedroom, literally on my knees, just like, we're getting to the 89th minute now, nothing. He's done nothing. And like you just described, he then gets a penalty, he has it saved, and it's like, this is amazing. And then it has to be retaken, and then he gets another penalty or another goal or something. And it was just like, I can't take this anymore. I have got to do something to show my anger. And I literally just put the video out on Elite FPL. I didn't tag anything. I did nothing. I just put the video out there knowing that Jason would, or one of the guys that was on with him would go, oh, Steve has done a video, play it on the TV. And that's exactly what Jason did. And Jason went words to the effect of, he ain't happy, is he? He ain't happy. And then it just, from that moment on, just bang, just ridiculous. Absolutely ludicrous. And even wasn't there one recently as well where I went apeshit about content creators or something like that? I think it was like this year, I think. And people jumped on board the bandwagon of Elite FPL and everything. It's just crazy. Jonathan Mahoney saying, not wishing to rain on the parade, but YouTube tells me I joined the channel 6th of September 2018. If my maths is right, you must have already been going. Yeah, it's live streaming, Jonathan. You've been with us for that long. Wow. But yeah, we've been live streaming for that amount of time. Like I said, I really wanted to play the blasted video, but I can't. But it is crazy, Dan, isn't it? When we spoke to Jason about basically, essentially, is it just a quicker way of uploading to YouTube? And Jason just went, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, for those not familiar with the backstory, so we would, myself and you were doing podcasts basically about the Torbay Elite Fantasy Football League that we take very seriously. And there was about 50 members in the group. We were getting a few nice comments, but we weren't really getting the engagement or sort of feedback that we wanted. And then obviously Jason came on board, really improved the graphical setup and made it more professional, but it was taking I remember I was taking like 12 hours or something for me to upload them onto the group, or he was doing it as well, and it was just ridiculous. And Jason said, look, it'd be just a lot quicker to stick it on YouTube. And we started to get some comments, and then we did our first live stream, and I remember we had a guy from Antigua comment, right? I think he joined in. And
Mark Antigua, by any chance?
Yeah, Man United fan. And I was thinking, this is mental. Like, where's this going to go? And you just can't believe it when you just three lads talking about, a cash mini league that we take very seriously, etc., etc., and you got someone from the other side of the world chipping in with comments. It just blows my mind still to this day.
Yeah. Well, Steve-O used to do. Do you remember when you were on a different shift pattern and you used to live stream quite early in the morning, didn't you? Like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you'd get a lot of you get a lot of call-ins from New Zealanders and Australians and
Yeah.
people in the different time zone, and they really appreciated that, didn't they? I remember that first few years. And
Yeah, we do.
At one point, you were even thinking of doing a league, what you like a rivalry league, like Southern Hemisphere versus
Christ,
Northern
yeah.
Hemisphere.
Yeah. God
Aussie boys-
almighty,
Aussie boys-
yes.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, yeah.
Aussie boy used to call in a lot, didn't he? And he can't have been that old at the time. He was quite young, wasn't he?
quite
Like
young.
13, 14.
Yes. Jay Gutterman, his name is. And he's just recently come out of the woodwork this year by weird coincidence. Because he went to college or university or whatever, and he couldn't watch any of our stuff, and he just rejoined our Discord /server /YouTube channel. It's crazy. Just swinging it back to FPL this season, John, I've literally just noticed that you're in the same boat as me and Dan. You're you're on exactly the same points as me, 650. I've got your team up on screen. The differentials on me are Shimmercast, DRB, Darwin Captain, and Watkins. Darwin Captain, what's that all about?
I just thought if there's a week where I can sort of go slightly differential, and I was tempted last week. I mean, luckily I didn't captain him last week. Well, I was tempted last week to captain him. Wouldn't have made any difference anyway because Haaland didn't do anything. But I just feel at some point, I know it sounds strange, but I think Darwin's going to have a big game at some point. He's a potential. I mean, I know everyone rips the piss out of him occasionally for missing chances, but he's there. He's getting the chances, and I think one game he'll explode soon. I can see him getting 3 or 4 goals in a game. And I just thought, if there's a week where I can go slightly differential, I think this week's probably the week to do it. So, fingers. I know it's Brentford. Brentford aren't the easiest team, but Liverpool at home, I expect them to win. I expect them to have quite a few chances. And I know a lot of people have gone Salah, but I think when Darwin's in the team, Salah's pushed quite wide. Yes, you could get the penalties, but fingers crossed. Darwin will explode one game. I'm just rolling the dice, hoping it's going to be this week. So that was my thinking. Just slightly differential. If there's a week to do it, we're going Haaland.
Dan, do you think John's mad, or do you think actually he's making a very sound point here?
No, Darwin will double-digit haul tomorrow.
He will double-digit haul. Yeah. That's an absolute definite, is it?
It's guaranteed to happen.
And why is that?
It's just gonna. I mean, he's Liu Kang, isn't he? He's I keep calling him the more combat man because he reminds me of Liu Kang, but he had enough chances last week, didn't he? And like John was just alluding to, as we like to say on this channel, at some point he's going to start taking these chances, and
wasn't that
a good opportunity tomorrow? So it's nice to have a differential captain because, I just that whole thing of Haaland, Salah, Haaland, Salah, it just gets bloody boring, doesn't it? After a while. So good on you, John.
Wasn't that a criticism, Dan? Actually, just reminded me. We had a comment saying, "Please, can that guy stop saying alluded all the time?" Isn't that right?
Oh, they can jog on. I'll be saying alluded all the rest of my life. It's one of the best words in the English dictionary. So,
John,
I'll be alluding all the rest of my life.
John, you're a very good fantasy football manager, but this season, the fact that you're on the same points as me is quite concerning for you. What do you genuinely put that down to? Why do you think your season's not going as well as it normally would? Because normally, when me and Jason are going through the leagues, you're like in usually the top 20 minimum.
The previous 2 seasons, I've got off to a pretty good start, and then I've just sort of plateaued out, and it's been boring to play the game like that, to be honest. I quite like the fact it's been a tough start, and I quite like the fact that you can sort of try and get these green arrows every week and sort of improve your rank. When you get to a decent rank, it's very hard to sort of keep improving it every week. So I can't put it down to anything. There's been like I'd say two or three real bad decisions when I look back at it now, which would have saved me a lot of points. I think I started with Salah, and I think I got rid of him too early. I think it was game week 3 or game week 4. I think I got rid of him when I think it was after the Chelsea won at Luton 3-0, and then Sterling and Maddison started becoming viable options, and Foden, and I think I got rid of Salah to spread the funds a bit in my midfield. And hindsight now, I should have stuck to my guns a little bit, kept Salah, and moved on to different players. But it's a hard game. There's a massive element of luck, and most people that play FPL know all the good players to pick. It's just getting that timing right, getting the players in at the right time, getting the right players out at the right time, and sometimes you're stuck with a team, and it's very hard to sort of gamble on certain players. But I always just try and stick to like form and fixtures. I think form's probably the key thing I stick to, and then fixtures probably second, and then just trying to get a nice flexible team. But I can't put it down to anything in particular, Steve. Just a couple of. I don't think I've had a very good captaincy run either. I think my captains have done all right, but they haven't done brilliant. I don't think I've captained many big scores each week. I've had a couple of decent scores, but I haven't had the big Salah returns for captaincy. I haven't had like a goalkeeper has been a nightmare. Also, I haven't had one goalkeeper clean sheet all season, so that's been a nightmare.
So tomorrow Darwin's going to be doing nothing then.
Probably, I feel sorry for people that've got Areola because I've got him in my team now, and I'm still waiting for a goalkeeper clean sheet. But
well, I had a toss up between him and Leno, and I just think that there's more of an upside to West Ham than there is Fulham away at Aston Villa. I mean, I'm looking at your bench here. Who are these people? Strakosha, Lascelles, we know that is. We know Lamptey, and then we got Chukwuemeka. I mean, how did you get these? Who are they?
So this was the wild card. I think I wild carded about 3 weeks ago now, Steve-O, and it was literally I had to push to the very limit to get the team I wanted. So I literally had to scrimp on the bench to get Darwin, Watkins, Haaland, Son, Salah, and Saka in my team, along with a decent other midfield option. You know, I couldn't afford to get any sort of decent bench. I thought one decent bench player will be enough, because this season I think most people play some part of the game. So I'm happy just to have one decent bench player, and it sort of takes the headaches out of it as well. I don't have to worry about benching headaches. You know, my team's pretty much set every week. I had to bench Lascelles this week, I think it was, which wasn't, fortunately Newcastle conceded 2, so I haven't lost out any points on my bench there. So as long as Tsimikas plays tomorrow, then it's fine. Maybe in the future when, Salah's going to go to AFCON, isn't he, in at the end of December, I might be able to strengthen my bench then and then look towards a bench boost maybe, but at the moment I'm happy just to not have the benching headaches. My 11's pretty much picks itself every week, so as long as I don't get any injuries.
Podner's saying that you're only 3 points behind him, and I've just seen on your mini leagues that you're in literally a 2-man mini league with yourself and Firetog. What on earth is that all about?
This is probably about 2 or 3 years ago now. I think we ended up having a little bit of a heated discussion on Discord and Hangouts one of the nights. I think it was all to do with the power of the bench boost chip, and I was adamant, and it's probably the most powerful chip you've got, and he was arguing another case, and we ended up getting in a bit of a heated discussion, and then we ended up having this little side bet. Well, we'll see who finishes ahead of each other at the end of the season. I think that league's just continued to this day.
So rather than settling it in a boxing ring, you've decided to settle it in a mini league.
Yeah, and he hasn't done well after that, has he, really, to be fair to him?
He's doing terribly. I mean, it doesn't help me because he's got the same bloody players as me. So it looks like...
love fight like that. Love him.
Oh, don't get me wrong. He's a wonderful, wonderful person.
An intriguing character to talk to when he talks about FPL and how he picks his team, how he strategizes and stuff like that. It's completely different way to the way that I play the game. You know, he's already got his team sort of set out or laid out for the next sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks.
But the thing is, without going over the same repeated line, that's what works in Sky. Sky?
I think 5 o'clock would be brilliant at Sky.
Yeah, so do I. I generally do. In fact, the irony is this is a man who doesn't need the money, and yet he'll probably end up winning it and just saying, don't bother giving me the winnings, because he is the perfect individual to win Sky. If he is willing to put all this time and effort into FPL with the strategies and the various transfers and in the near futures and the captains, it doesn't work in FPL. I mean, obviously it does for some people, but I think a lot of the time FPL, unfortunately, I mean, you can answer this, Dan, it just seems that FPL is more based on reactatory rather than actually just staying calm with the process, and because you're always facing those stupid price changing challenges.
I know. I mean, it's a different way to play the game, like you're saying, obviously planning ahead and whatnot. So yeah, price changes, they catch me out all the time, but everyone plays the game with like a different way. I'm not necessarily one for forward planning or whatnot, as you know, but me personally, I just enjoy on a Friday, reading certain articles, FPL rated articles, sport articles, whatever it is, at some point tuning into the channel, of course, and just looking forward to the Premier League for the weekend. I mean, some people might say, oh, you should make your decisions earlier in the week, price rises, rare tear, all this stuff, but I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old, guys. I'm just stuck in my ways that it gets me set up for the weekend of football, and that's what I enjoy. Yeah,
absolutely. John, have you got any final words? Because I want to get to bed, and I'm sure Dan wants to, watch Match of the Day. Really do appreciate you coming on, mate. Any final words before we clear off, essentially?
Yeah, congratulations on the 5 years. Brilliant work. Keep it up, and here's to another 5. And good luck, everyone, tomorrow with the players they've got in FPL.
Yeah.
So,
especially you, John, with Darwin captain.
It's going to be a big day. Yeah.
Be kind, John. I wouldn't be wishing other people good luck, but appreciate all the other sentiments.
I always want other people to do well, but as long as I beat them by 1 point, I'm happy.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, good night, guys.
Cheers, John. Night.
There's an absolute legend there in John Harris. Like I say, it does hit quite hard, Dan, when an individual that's been with us for so long talks to you, but not necessarily directly in person, but speaks to you one-to-one and shows their appreciation for a channel that they really love.
Yeah, definitely. It's really nice what John said, because he just summed it up really well about bringing people together, and it was a nice lot of gratitude that he expressed there as well. And I think it is the friendships that have been formed as part of the channel, and the memories, and the rivalries and whatnot, and it's really nice to hear. And I think it is good that we're still close to subscribers, and they've got obviously with the Discord, that is our differential, isn't it, still, really? And people can come on. When I was telling someone at the office space yesterday about the channel, he was just saying that sounds really cool, and just explain. I just said to him, it's just basically like a radio tune-in station for fantasy football, and he's like, that sounds really, really good. And I'm always really proud when I talk about the channel as well, even if it's someone that's not necessarily interested in football per se, but it's certainly an achievement for the three of us. Obviously, I know that departed a few years ago and come on every now and then, but it's something that we should all be proud of, and that extends to the moderators and those that support the channel on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Just a quick one from Men in Black. Do you remember holding up the 442 Steve-O for Jason? That piece of paper must have been about 4 years ago. Yeah, that was fascinating because I remember driving home from Hammersmith and getting really, really angry. Doesn't sound like me. Getting really annoyed at the fact that I was driving home and the stream kept cutting out because the internet was just terrible in and around the, is it the A4? I can't remember now. And I wanted to go on a longer, well, not a longer drive home, but it was the slightly quicker way because of the A40. But anyway, and I had my team set up in a 4-4, I'm sure it was a 4-4-2, or I decided to change it at the last minute and go with 3-5-2. And Jason, all pre-season, was slagging the 4-4-2 off. And then when it came to the deadline closing and stuff, he revealed his team as 4-4-2. And I was just like, you arsehole. Like, you absolute piece of fucking shit. Like, you, for this whole pre-season, has been putting me down, making me feel like crap over this poxy formation, and then you come along and just go, yeah, I'm doing a 4-4-2. And I just thought, fuck this. And I just, did what I had to do. Just insane, really. What I will say is, really do appreciate anybody that's tuned in tonight. Many familiar faces. Anybody that has super chatted, myself and Jason, really thank you a lot for that. You really didn't have to, but thank you very much for that as well. Like most people are saying, bring on the next 5 years. I don't even know about the next 5 minutes, Dan, to be honest with you.
Bring on the next 50 years, I say.
Yeah. There's just to let people know that are still around here, there's probably going to be a very high chance that I'll be covering the 2 p.m. kickoffs tomorrow. There's a very high chance I'll be doing that. But certainly Jason will be back for Sunday surgery tomorrow, so we can look over our teams and see that I want to be bringing back in Saka for Martinelli. But yeah, it'd be nice to see Jason, to be honest with you, and then he can talk about the 5 years and whatnot. Other than that, I've got nothing else to say. Dan, do you have any quick final words before we go?
Just really appreciate, being able to drop by again. Appreciate everyone's kind comments tonight, and obviously all the very generous donations. And here's to another 5 years of Elite FPL.
Yeah. Cheers, everybody, for watching, and take it easy. See you tomorrow.
Cheers, guys.